Welcome back, luxurious fleet. It is hard to believe that the Lexus IS has been around now for like 20 years already. And unlike its bigger, older brother, the Lexus GS, rest in peace, homie, the IS is getting another chance with an upcoming remodel due within the next year or so. In part one of this two-part series, we're going to recap the past 20 years of the IS and its storied history. And in part two, we'll touch upon the current status of the third generation IS, and I'll share everything I know about the upcoming fourth generation, including powertrains, infotainment, and maybe some more. So smash the like button and let's roll. My name is Kirk, and this channel is all about Toyota and Lexus, so feel free to subscribe to the Luxurious Fleet for news and reviews in the future, and also so you don't miss out on part two of this awesome series of the IS. So let's dive right in. Lexus needed a competitor to the highly successful Mercedes-Benz C-Class and the BMW 3 Series. So in January of 2000, Lexus unveiled the IS 300 at the LA Auto Show. Brochures were handed out at the debut claiming, "You're too young to own a Lexus." And on the next page followed up with saying, "Oh, a few more months should do it," alluding to the June 23rd, 2000 date for the availability of the first gen IS. The IS was Lexus's attempt at the time to bring in new, younger buyers, just as a current day Lexus UX claims to accomplish the same thing some 20 years later. The IS was a clone of the Japanese spec Altezza that had been available in Japan since October of '98. The major difference was that the American market IS carried the legendary 2JZ-GE inline six from the GS, while the European and Japanese markets employed a 2-liter six-cylinder. For time purposes today, we're gonna focus mainly on the US spec or the US versions of the IS. Otherwise, we'd be here all day talking about the worldwide variations on top of that. The 3-liter 2JZ GE produced 215 horsepower, 5,800 RPM, and 218 pound-feet of torque at 3,800 RPM. Transmission was a 5-speed auto with electronic shifters on the steering wheel, and in 2001, as a 2002 model year, Lexus offered a 5-speed manual transmission in the IS, something current day enthusiasts wish still was offered. At launch, the IS was a rear-wheel drive only model using the AS200 platform from Toyota. However, just 1 year after the IS debuted, Lexus offered a wagon variant called the Sport Cross, based on the AS300 platform shared with the Japanese spec Toyota Gita wagon. I've only seen a couple of these in person, and they seem to be highly sought after, as this was the only wagon Lexus has ever produced. Unfortunately, no manual transmission was ever offered on the Sport Cross here in the United States. The first generation IS had unique capabilities to it in the Lexus lineup, including a chrome metal ball shifter, a chronograph style instrument cluster, and a pop-up nav screen, and standard HID headlights. In 2003, the 2004 model year IS received a facelift. New wheels, fog lights, and trim around the lights. And around this time, Lexus also unveiled at SEMA the IS 430 prototype sporting the 3UZ FE motor found in the LS 430 and the SC 430. While this model never came to be, it was a foreshadowing of the most iconic Lexus IS model ever. The first generation's last model year would be 2005, paving the way for the second generation IS in 2006. So in October of 2005, that brought the 2006 IS. Also in 2005, Lexus was officially introduced to Japan, converting the Altezza into an official Lexus at that time. The second gen was here, bringing bold new styling inspired by L Finesse. The second generation brought all-wheel drive as an option and new motors to the lineup. The venerable 2JZ GE was no longer offered. Instead, the entry-level IS 250 had a 2.5-liter V6 with 203 horsepower and 185 pound-feet of torque. The IS also got a huge upgrade for the second generation with the 3.5-liter V6 in the IS 350, sporting 306 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. Aside from the powertrain upgrades, the second gen IS received electroluminescent gauges similar to the original LS 400. It also adapted push-button start and smart access keyless entry, backup camera, Mark Levinson sound, and dynamic radar cruise control. Only 3 years after Lexus was playing around with the IS 430 prototype, the ISF was actually unveiled at the 2007 North American Auto Show. This was the unveil for the Lexus F brand, which led to the eventual creation of the RCF, GSF, and LFA. This ISF launched straight into competition against the AMGs and BMW M's at the time. This ISF employed a 5-liter V8 2UR GSE from the LS600HL flagship. It produced 416 horsepower and 371 pound-feet of torque. This motor is still being used in the modern F lineup, tuned to about 470 horsepower. The ISF was the fastest Lexus ever produced at the time, propelling the compact sedan to 60 miles an hour in just 4.6 seconds with its 8-speed automatic transmission. The second generation IS saw huge global sales and put the entry-level Lexus on the map, selling a more than accurate TL, Audi A4, and the Infiniti G35. In 2008, the IS received a facelift, which resulted in better handling and steering to a revised suspension. The 09 Lexus offered the IS 250C and 350C hardtop convertibles to complement the premium SC 430 in the lineup. The 2010 Lexus IS offered the first F Sport models that have now saturated the entire Lexus lineup by 2020, except for the GX and LX, of course. And from 2008 to 13, very little changes happened on the state-bound IS. The third generation couldn't come soon enough to revitalize the sporty compact model. In 2013, as a 2014 model, the third gen arrived to the scene. The ISC would continue for 2 more years based off the second generation, and the ISF would celebrate its final year as a torchbearer for the Lexus F brand. The styling of the third gen compared to the second gen was extremely similar. The biggest difference is the front end and the introduction of the iconic spindle grille with the razor-like daytime running lights. But from the side, the new model looked nearly identical except from the dramatic line that swept from the side skirt area into the sharp angle of the taillight. The updated F Sport packages received unique grills and bumper effects with exclusive interior options and wheels. Adaptive variable suspension was offered on the IS 350 F Sport, and variable gear ratio steering, which could be adjusted with Sport S and Sport Plus driving modes. No matter how exciting the styling was, especially for the F models, no new powertrains made it into the third gen's lineup at launch in America. It wasn't until 2016 that the Lexus dropped the 250 and the 2.5-liter V6 for the 300. And unlike the first gen IS 300, this one became very confusing. The rear-wheel drive IS 300 received an all-new powertrain, the first ever factory Lexus turbo motor, the 8AR FTS 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo, producing around 240 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. The all-wheel drive IS 300 received the 2GR FSE, a detuned 3.5-liter V6 capable of about 260 horsepower. Rear-wheel drive models received an 8-speed auto, even though the 350 rear-wheel drive had this since the debut of the third gen, and all-wheel drive models kept the 6-speed auto. For the 2017 model year IS, Lexus updated the headlights, the grills, the bumpers, and the taillights. They offered an optional 10.3-inch navigation screen. Oh, and in 2019, Lexus finally offered triple beam LED headlights for the IS 350s and for certain special edition IS 300s, and you guys know I'm a big sucker for the triple beams. Well, that gets us all caught up to the current IS's position here in 2020, and we'll dive deep into the current status and the future of the IS in part 2 of this Lexus IS past, present, and future series. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon because you guys don't want to miss out on the juicy details and speculation of the 4th gen in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until then, peace out.